So in the nomad lifestyle, you can take shelter by going from friend house to friend house, from family house to family house, from person's home to person's home. It could be a Airbnb location, more or less as a rented room. This is going to get quite expensive if you keep that up for any sustained period of time, long period of time, more than a couple of weeks. It could get prohibitively expensive if you don't have a very, very large and deep bank account, savings account to dig in from. And it is not efficient if you're living off the grid. You are of an efficient mindset, I would believe. So being so inefficient this way, just paying your way to comfort every other day, or even every couple of days, every 3-4 days, I believe is pretty much cheating. It defeats the purpose of being nomad, being without a permanent home. So might as well just be a tourist if you decide to pay your way and go from room to room. You have to pretty much be self-sufficient as much as you can. So having a tent, it's something that you can choose to do. That is one of the most efficient ways to take shelter. It is temporary, highly temporary, mobile, light to carry. Many of them are light enough to carry in your backpack, especially for the smaller one-person tents. However, they will not protect you from too many of the elements, such as the cold, the heat. You have to have other ways to keep cool or to keep warm. By bundling up is one way if you want to keep warm in a cold night, cold weather. Or taking off some garments and perhaps having some sort of fan or ventilation in the case of heats, if you have heat in your area. Again, shelter is going to be a huge challenge. It's going not to be easy. It's going to be very, very difficult, especially those of us that are not used to this type of lifestyle. It may take some time. That learning curve may be lengthy to know which areas, where to go, how to go about it, how to go about talking to folks, and maybe letting you sleep in their land, in their property, in their yard, in their ranch, in their building, in their warehouse, in their parking lot. You may get people to concede, however difficult this may be. So you do need to get used to getting the help from others. Get used to encroaching maybe a little bit into others' territory, at least for a little while, and taking your chances. You have to chances with this lifestyle. It is a lifestyle far from being safe and protected. So if the point is to be safe and protected, then this lifestyle may not be for you. If it is more about the adventure and about the travels and the benefits that come with these, as I mentioned in the beginning, then yes, this is something that you may want to try, at least again, for a short period. Moving on to another topic, on the subject of going nomad, backpacking, mobility. How do you move around? How do you go places? First and foremost, the most likely of the scenarios is that you will walk everywhere you go. This is, believe it or not, one of the most efficient ways of moving around as far as cost, energy spent, money. There's very little equipment required other than, the necessities I mentioned with water and food, being able to take shelter as well. So as long as you have those taken care of, at least for the most part, then you are able, if you are healthy enough, if you are capable enough physically to walk around, to walk out into whatever direction, whatever area you want to travel. Walking takes a lot of effort, physical effort, yes. In the beginning, you will be most likely sore unless you're used to, doing strenuous exercise, walking, jogging, etc. So this is something that your body may need to adjust to very, very quickly. If you're of the younger kind, it may not take too long. If you're the older kind, then it may take a little longer, perhaps much longer. But it could, however, be done if you have, fair to good health. Some of us may not be able to embark in such endeavor because of our health, and we must recognize this to be the case whenever we consider this. So if you have a doctor, talk to your doctor. If you have family member, close, confidant, talk to that person, ask them what they think about your health. You may think your health is great. Others may have a different opinion, especially if you detail what your plans may be. Another option you may want to go with is biking. You may have a bicycle, where you can go places. You may have a little more mobility as far as how far you can go. You may be limited as far as where you can go. With a bicycle, of course, you cannot walk into, rough terrain. You cannot go into too steep, too rough a terrain, too rugged, too rocky, too muddy, too wet, because you're going to sink, you're going to trip, you're going to, damage the bike maybe, damage the equipment. Then you may have a issue in your hands that you rather not, with, a blown tire or bent rim or whatever. You may have to leave that bike where it sits if it did go bad or it did get damaged. Also, you may be able to carry maybe more weights with a bike. You may be able to carry just slightly more equipment. Perhaps if you have a bike with some carrying capacity, as far as having maybe carrying basket, and the center bar, the bar in between, the wheel, the seat, and the control bar in front. You can use that, as a saddle, some sort of saddle, to carry maybe some equipment, some gear, maybe food and water, or whatever else you may need. You may not have to go into any kind of terrain that's too rough, too soft, too wet, too muddy, too rocky. You may want to stay, in grassy areas, firm ground, perhaps, asphalt. I would recommend you do not, if at all possible, stay away from roads, or at least, busy roads, or roads without too much of a shoulder. If you are on a bike, make sure that you are always in a shoulder that has enough space for you to ride on. Don't ride on the road. There's too many crazy drivers out there that are distracted, many of them. So I would not risk it like that. It's not worth it. You can also, move about in some other ways, such as if you are in a wheelchair, you can move about like that. Some wheelchairs are battery operated, same as bikes. There are bikes with, battery power that could be recharged either with a wall plug or, maybe with a solar panel. You may carry a small solar panel and charge your bicycle batteries like that. It may take some time to recharge the battery, perhaps, more than a day to recharge it with a small solar panel. But this may be an option for you. You may hang out somewhere for a day or two and have your bicycle charge this way. You may plug it into a wall outlet. There are some wall outlets that are available out in public, especially in cities, towns, or someone may allow you to use their power. There may be friendly folks out there. I would not count too much on encountering too many of them, but with luck, and if you're friendly enough, you may in fact find some people that may be willing to let you charge your bike, your electric bike. Some of these electric bikes are not only electric, but you can also pedal. So you can pedal and at times use the electric power on it. These are more costly. They do cost more, and they're usually heavier than conventional bikes because they got not only the battery but also the extra gear, the motor if it has one. So you may want to consider the weights. A bike is something that you may have to walk many times, uphill, downhill. If it's too steep, up or down, you may have to walk. I do recommend highly to walk down a steep hill. Do not ride down a too steep of a hill. You may lose control and end up in a very, very bad fall situation. So that's something you want to consider. Moving on to how you communicate. How do you keep in touch with those loved ones you left behind? Many of you may have plenty of loved ones that may want to know your whereabouts, your condition, your health, how you're doing, and you may want to know about them, how they're doing, their condition and whereabouts as well. So you may decide to have a cell phone. This is no crime. You may decide to keep the cell phone instead of following that option of dumping your cell phone, as I mentioned in an earlier show. You may decide to keep that cell phone because of this connection you may want to keep. You don't really have to dump or sever every single connection with the outside world. I don't recommend it because your morale may be taking a hit Your morale may be low at times. Not only that, but some other people's morales that you may be able to bring up help with a quick chat, lengthy talk, however long you want it to be, or however involved. So having a cell phone for this purpose, I believe to be okay. Cell phones do add weights, do add bulk to your baggage. That is something of concern. So a smaller cell phone, maybe perhaps a flip top, or a very light small cell phone would do the trick, I would think. The larger the phone, the more area it will cover. Remember, that will likely be close to your body and not allowing airflow, unless you keep it in a bag. However, it'll still be an extra weight. The bigger it is, the likely more weight it will have. So you need to keep that in mind. You may want to document your travels, your explorations, your expedition, and this is something that you may want to do very much. You may want to carry a cell phone for this purpose. The cell phone has the advantage of being able to record not only audio but video and photos. You could take photos. You could take, voice notes. You can write on them or type. Using the very small keyboard that it allows you to have, especially those that are on the screen. You may still have one of those old style cell phones that only have the numbers, especially those flip tops. They may have a keypad, the number pad or number keypad, or you may just have the the more conventional screened phone with nothing but a screen, and you do everything by touch, tactile contact there. You may want to keep a journal of some sorts. You may do this by voice. I think this is the most efficient, quickest way to do it, and perhaps the most telling. Your voice says a lot. Your background, as far as sounds and noises, tell a lot. So there's a lot more information that could be packed into a small, short recording, even if it's just voice, than you writing something on a notepad. A notepad is also an option. However, it is again paper. You may have a journal that's bound with a leather or more durable waterproof cover. But even these get wet, even these get damaged, even these weigh a little more than a cell phone, I believe. So you may want to consider what your options are. So of course, if you won't be carrying a cell phone for your travels, then if you want to record some sort of journal, then a notepad would be a good option. Also, you may choose to take a tape recorder. Nowadays, they're more likely digital, or with a small solid state hard drive. So you may be able to record this way. I myself have one that I'm doing this recording with, and I love this thing. It's lightweight, dependable, easy to use, easy to transfer information from it to other devices or computers. So even easier than a cell phone is. So that's why I prefer it. So you may want to do the same. You may want to consider it. There are many brands out there. I've known of Sony, Olympus. That's the one I use. Also, there may be other brands like Panasonic or RCA even. out there still for sale. And with that, I will leave it at that. That is backpacking in a nutshell. I mean, it may have been drawn out a little bit, but this is a monstrous topic. I may have only covered just a little more than the basics, just a little more in depth than just the bare bones information for it, and still, you know, it ran the whole show. It ran a couple of hours long. So if you know, you did miss any of the other episodes, do look back at those or listen to those, and you know, so you can get the whole info about backpacking nomad option. Again, this is extremely difficult of a decision to make, and even more extremely difficult to embark in. It is an experience that only very few people decide and follow through with doing it. You may want to consider it very long. Do include those involved with you in your life. If you do have people living with you, close by you, people that you know that may be concerned about your safety, about you, about what you may be going through. Yeah, do talk to those people as well. This is not something that is just going to affect you. It is something that may affect your family. It is risky business. It is a business that may cost you very much. It may cost you dearly. It may cost you severe injury. It may cost you relationships. It may cost you even your life when you're out there being nomad, because the world is not ready. It's not used to it. The world out there finds this to be very much outside of the norm, and you know, you will find rejection every step of the way. Believe me, you will find those that think it is crazy, think it is nonsensical, and you know, as long as it makes sense to you, and as long as it's working out for you, then keep on going, keep on keeping on, keep on trekking. That's what I would say. Thank you very much for listening. If you have embarked in this endeavor, in this voyage, please do let me know how it's going, how it has been, how it was. If you're done with it, you may be in the middle of it, you may be in it for the long haul. If you are and it's going good for you, I'm happy for you, good for you, whoever you are. And I hope to hear you, or at least read your comments, you know, through any means, whatever means, you know, either through this chat, this posting, whatever. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great day. So in the Nomad